We decided one daily segment wasn't enough for Bill Bush and Bill's Thrills, so we turned it into a week-long podcast recap. Here's Bill's Thrills Rewrapped, sponsored by Acres Equipment on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is time for a Football Facts Monday, Bill. What is on your mind today?
Ooh, so now it's on the other side of the envelope.
Football Facts.
Two sides.
Which we've talked about here. You lose more than you win. You lose
Meaning,
more than
explain
you win.
that to people.
You just make errors. You do some things on your own that when I say that are controllable, things that are potentially controllable. Starting off USC Michigan, which we haven't talked about. I shelved it for this idea, but
Nice.
Shelved it.
we talked about this. It was like 1986 all over again. That was one of the most incredible games to watch on TV. Michigan, USC, down to the wire.
It was beautiful.
Two blue bloods, and that was fun to watch.
Jake, I watched all of it. It was
Michigan
incredible.
threw for 31 yards. It had 31 yards passing. And when the
Alex Orji.
31
Can't
yards
throw it.
passing, I get that. But USC gets the ball somewhere around midfield or a little bit behind that. There's 4-something to go. And two things are going to have to happen. They can't throw the ball. So the one thing that has to happen is the clock has to run or the timeouts have to be used by Michigan, period. And USC throws 2 incomplete passes in a row.
Come
Two
on.
incomplete passes in a row. If you run the ball, most likely they're not taking the timeouts. Run off another minute 20 off of it. Remember when Michigan scored, there was like 20-some seconds left to go in the game. So the time management again. Now,
But could they run the ball?
But what's that? Doesn't matter. They weren't going to get. Maybe I don't get the first. No, Michigan's defense is unbelievable. My point was make them make a decision.
Okay.
Either they got to use the timeouts,
Makes sense.
or the clock's going to run down. Because they let it run down,
Yeah.
they're probably going to say, "Hey, we're going to save the timeouts
Good
so we
point.
have time to be able to do things." But it's a way different game, that extra minute 40 after they're going to say, "Hey, listen, we probably have to throw the ball down the field to have a chance at this."
Lincoln Riley.
To get it done. I was just
Great coach, though, Jake.
You
He's
love-
a great
you
coach.
love Lincoln
He did a
I
great
do.
job because,
I do.
Michigan's defensive front, USC couldn't even come close to handle it. And somehow he got 24 points on the board. And also with that, one of the things is a horrible pick 6 by Miller Moss. He played really well. He made a horrible
USC
throw.
should have won the game. Let's just say it. They blew it on defense.
They did.
Number 19 couldn't get that Mullins to the ground.
If they
God.
make the tackle, it's a 15-yard run.
Yeah.
It's a 15-yard run. They still have a long ways to go to win. They're probably got to complete a couple passes.
Instead, he went what? He went like 40 plus.
I think he went almost like over 50.
61 maybe.
I don't know. It was maybe,
check it out. He had a long run.
I thought it was 60, but maybe since you
Okay,
said
no,
it,
you're
over 50. But it was a long run.
And the safety had him.
Yeah,
Was it
Had his
late in the
arms
game?
wrapped around
it, and then
This is late in the game?
And then
Yeah,
the other safety missed him. He had wrapped around the other DB, missed him with someone that had arms on him. Oh,
How did he get through that?
It was a 63-yard run.
63-yard run.
It was 3rd and 1 at the Michigan 20. He went for 63 yards to the
And
USC
also
17.
with that, I don't think they were overly aggressive because on 3rd and 1 is when you don't want to. It's like, hey, you just concede the first down. You just concede. No, it's okay.
Interesting. That's the mindset.
Yeah,
Okay.
at that point in time,
Yeah,
we got to keep them
that
out of
makes
the end
sense.
zone. Don't run something defensively so aggressive to give up a 63-yard run. That's what you don't want to have happen. If it goes for 5, you're like, okay, clock's still running. It wasn't below 2 minutes. Away
But you would
go.
agree they had him.
What's that?
You would agree that they
for
had
a
it.
15-yard run.
Yeah,
They did have it.
yeah.
100%. So that was, like I said, but make a decision. The next one, Baylor, Colorado.
Oh, yep.
Baylor, Colorado. One of the more epic games that I've ever seen.
Incredible.
What an ending.
The storylines in this game, even in the overtime, were so incredible. So we're watching it, and I'm going, okay, here we go. Hail Mary. They got to throw it in the end zone. Last play. And my first thing is to do
Regulation.
I would do what the Chiefs, what the Bengals didn't do against the Chiefs a week ago,
Which is
bring some pressure in the situation. They got to throw 50 yards. I'm like, whatever you do not rush 3. Come after them. And they do.
Baylor.
Baylor does. And I'm watching it.
Flushed
and
him.
they lined off right there, and they flushed him away from his hand, which you should do, which
Right.
means they flushed him to his left.
Right.
Yep.
Like that. But the edge guy, which I believe whoever that player was on the edge, I'm watching him. He's to the field, and he just comes up and under and runs underneath. And then Shedeur is just out there all by himself, just floating while they're chasing him down from behind. I'm like, oh no! I'm yelling. They lost contain. They lost contain. And then they lose him. They throw the 50-yard touchdown pass
To Wester.
LeJohntay Wester.
Hadn't caught a pass in the game, I don't believe. I think it was his only catch.
Good God.
And it was just incredible. So then
He made a great catch.
And so I can't believe what I'm seeing, what happened. And then I heard this yesterday. I heard what happened. And Baylor called timeout to talk through, like, hey, he saw how they lined up. Boom, they called timeout. They had an injury, and the two guys lined up on the wrong side. So the guy that's supposed to come outside was on the boundary side. The guy supposed to come up and under was to the field. They were on the wrong side. Because if they blitz the guy, from the field, he hits Shedeur right in the face before the receivers are even probably 15 yards down the field.
Oh, God.
And the game is over, and they screw it up. You lose more games than you win. You had a timeout. To make sure, and they knew, hey, we're running this on defense. You're going to be to the field. You are contained. We're going to push him to you. They did all the things right, except for one guy.
Ew.
Or there are two guys that lined up on the wrong side. I'm blown away. The fact that as soon as he caught the ball, Shedeur, he took off. And the guy still ran up and under. Just go back and watch the play. You'll be mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
And they hit a 50-yard, whatever it was.
And it was a good throw. He made a good throw. And the guy made a great catch, diving catch, and just got it off the turf.
Yeah. And they go down and score in overtime.
Yes.
Colorado.
Then what happened?
So I'm watching the game with Shin Daddy and Tamara.
Oh, no. You're watching with Shindy?
Now I'm envious. I'm envious. You watch with Shin Daddy.
You watch with Shindy and Tam?
And I tell him, I go, if Baylor scores, go for two. This is your chance.
Is that right?
It's on the road. Go for two.
Okay, that's interesting. I wondered about that.
Yeah, I go for two. You're on the road. I would say go for two. And they've got they run the ball down for a first down. The quarterback almost scored. So it's first and 2 at the 2.
Yeah.
Wide open gap. He's running in. He's going to score a touchdown. And Travis Hunter hits him and knocks the ball
Travis Hunter.
Dude. And it wasn't
total
a touchdown.
dude play.
He knocks the ball out, rolls out of the end zone. Game over.
Travis Hunter's a freak.
They not only stormed the field, they tore the goalpost down for beating Baylor.
They tore him down?
They did a premature field
before the game was even over. Yeah, the game was not over.
They had to clear them off.
Baylor is 2-2, right?
It's an odd.
They tore him down for Baylor.
Colorado's very odd, but I
get that one.
There was a time, Steve, when Colorado had the ball and they dropped back pass, and Baylor sacked him 4 out of 5 snaps.
Oh, I saw
4
it.
out of 5
I watched
snaps.
it.
It was a sack, pressure,
yeah, they're
sack,
coming off the edge.
Sack. They couldn't block him.
Block the edge guy.
Couldn't block him, and it was incredible. The running back missed a couple of protections, and it was incredible. They could not protect him of any sort, and it was just unreal what was happening. But I tell you one, Colorado deserves credit. You know why? Changed their offense.
They did.
A lot of quick game
passes.
The quarterback now is involved in the run game.
He runs.
He
Shedeur runs.
He scrambles, and they had quarterback run.
I have a question for you. Do you think Shermer went to Dion and said, we got to run the quarterback?
I believe so. If we want to have a chance to win games, if we do what we did against Nebraska, they wouldn't let they had no quarterback run. It was all 4 detached the whole game. Now they have tight ends in the core. They have different run games. They try to run.
And Shedeur will scramble now.
He'll scramble and has quarterback runs. He scored a touchdown on a design quarterback run.
But now people are saying Sipple, he scrambled before, but now he'll scramble and push forward to beyond the line of scrimmage. He'll keep it. He'll keep it now, and he's a pretty good runner.
Baylor had the game won 9 times.
Wouldn't you say at one point they had like a 95% chance to win Baylor?
I'm going to say, I'd like to know what it was. So Baylor's lining up with 2 minutes to go in the game or something.
A field goal.
To kick a field goal to go up 10.
Right. To go up 10.
A layup field goal. At that juncture, before he kicked it, I'm going to say they were 99% chance of winning the game at that juncture.
That's what I thought, too.
About that.
I thought the game was
Same
over.
thing.
Okay. All right. I'm looking right now at ESPN's win probability. They were 99.2% chance to win with 1:11 to go in the fourth quarter.
That's when he probably lined up for the field goal.
99.2%.
And I think now that might have been a 46-yard. I'd have to go back and look, but it still should
same
make it.
thing. He's a left-footed kicker on the left hash. Hooks it.
Hooks it. Hooked it bad. Didn't come close.
You lose more than you win.
That's a wonderful
And
initiative.
I didn't even get a chance to hit on Washington State, San Jose State, 54-52, double overtime, incredible. Wazoo wins.
Wazoo.
Both teams threw interceptions in the first overtime. Unheard of. Both teams. The first team.
No.
And here's the best part, though. San Jose State throws a touchdown pass with 24 seconds left, and they get the 2-point play to go up 3. And Washington makes 2 pass plays and kicks a 56-yard field goal to go send it to overtime.
Wild. That's wild.
It was wild.
That's
football.
wild.
That's some Friday night football.
It was Friday night football. I was up till 1:30.
Good God.
1:30.
Then you got up and left for the lake?
What's that? I actually went. I watched the game with my parents.
Okay.
And then it's about another 30-minute drive from there. So after the Nebraska game is over, I drove to our cabin, and then watched the second half of Washington State San Jose State.
You were on the move in Northeast Nebraska.
I was on the move. Yes.
Beautiful place. Bill, it's a Bugaboo Tuesday. What is bothering you on this Tuesday morning?
Things that bother me. Bugaboo Tuesday.
Flip it.
That was the flip.
I thought I would change up a little bit and go back in time.
We don't do this very often.
Never.
And this is based on school and out of school, but more in school. That'd be the panic of the pick, the pressure
Of
recess draft day.
Oh,
Recess
yeah.
draft day. How you selected teams at recess.
Panic of the pick.
The panic of the pick. There would always start off with who the 2 captains were, and there would be some sort of a game or a gimmick for who gets the first selection overall. It might be rock, paper, scissors, might be some type of thing. There was always some sort of like odds or evens or pick a number between 1 and 100. Remember
Yep.
that
Oh,
one?
yeah.
That's a
Yep.
classic.
Yep.
Who got the first pick? And then as it went down, because I don't see it anymore. I miss it, and that's part of my bugaboo, and I don't see that going on at recess with that type of a pick.
I don't think so. No.
I don't see it. I don't see that. It was, and then you'd stand there, and there'd be a group of people standing there. All of a sudden, be boom, boom, and all of a sudden, after about the 3rd or 4th pick, you start getting the like that. Like, are you serious? Really? Are you serious? Because this is basically.
They got sort of uncomfortable.
It got uncomfortable. It got uncomfortable
we were
because
cool, man.
there's always there's a couple. You know, they're always there was some people went through elementary school. They're always the last pick. You know,
that would get old.
It was gonna get old. They're the last pick, and it was like, oh, you had to go through the whole process. God, it was just. And then, like you said, like that. And then as it went down like that, because you built your roster though on the bottom part of the draft. That's like you do now. You build that's how you build your football.
I don't know about that.
The bottom part of your draft was big because if you get somebody late, like that, it's like, hey,
Somebody good, yeah.
somebody good, kind of also someone slid through. It's like, are you kidding me?
You got to go with the girl.
Oh yeah, no.
Panic of the pick.
No, a lot of time, like we were going war ball, like Liz Repper would get picked ahead of a lot of guys.
Really?
Oh yeah, she was good.
'Cause she can wing it?
and she could catch the ball.
Really?
Get somebody back in. So all of a sudden that happened a lot. It was like
Panic of the pick.
The panic of the pick when it went down like that. Jake, was it nervous?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Me and Sip are pretty high draft picks most of the time. We're pretty high up. We went early.
I was not last. I was not last.
Did you hear Jake?
Yeah.
I thought we were cool, man.
I thought we were cool. We were cool, man. What's the deal? And you always, but you knew who the first pick in art forever was for us was Robert.
Robert
McQuistion was the first pick.
Why? Because he's big?
Yeah, and he was
Big athletic dude?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, he was our best athlete. And then Duke would probably be 2.
Duke was 2?
Duke was 2. Duke was,
Really?
The number 2 pick would usually be Duke.
Really?
Yeah. And so, but you went down like that. But it was just a whole process. And I don't see the process anymore.
I don't think it
and
happens.
I miss being part of it. I wish like every day we had to pick teams. How do you do it? Well, we're gonna do between 1 and 100. Pick your number. The best part, the one person would say, pick between 1 and 100. Only that one person had the number, so they didn't know if it was right or not. You had no idea if it was right or not.
Changed it all the way.
Yeah, they could just change it. No, you won. It was 88. No, I don't think that's
Panic
what it was.
of the pick.
Panic of the pick.
God
the
dang,
pressure.
Bill.
Recess day draft.
Does it? Just on the text line, do people still do it? Do kids still do it?
We do have a response in text line.
I'd love to hear from
Downtown Scott says, how often does Bill oversee recess these days?
It's fair.
A little fair, but I'm just telling you, I don't think it's happening. I mean, there's some games were played, and Gigi played some, and never came home, never with once like, I got picked 6,
right?
Or I didn't get picked, or I got picked early. I just don't see it happening.
I don't know if it's happening. I don't think it is.
I don't think it's happening. If not, I just miss it.
You missed. Kent says, Bill, there is always the guy that wasn't there yet. So someone would say, hey, when Johnny gets here, he's ours.
That's true.
Yeah, we got Johnny. We're taking Johnny.
It's like taking it's like a free agent flyer on someone. Not sure if he's going to be here, but if he does,
I got
him. Yes. Oh, better times.
Casey says, did you ever pick the last person first and throw everyone off their draft game at all?
No, that didn't happen.
No,
that didn't
never
happen.
did that.
It didn't happen.
You
It went
knew
down.
your place.
And
You knew
the best
your
part was then the last two would just walk off like this to the other. Each of the last two picks here. And it's like, I know, whatever. And they would just go and
It's kind of sad.
If you build it's a little bit.
It was. I mean, it was fine.
Because
But,
that's just the way it was. Though.
yeah,
But that's
just exactly
the way it was. And guess what?
Good job, Bill. That's
I'm
the way it was.
going to tell you right now, I can't pick out like, who were the last picks, right? Or would I see someone now like going, hey, yeah, I remember you. You were used to pick last. No, had no idea.
Nope.
No thought of it.
No, you didn't
Don't
think of
care.
it like that. Yeah.
No, didn't think of it like that.
You just wanted to play.
Yeah, you didn't go into like math class going like, can't believe you're the last pick. No, didn't think of it.
You just wanted to play.
Just wanted to play.
No, not big
That was
a
it.
deal.
Anything else from
we have a text from an elementary educator right now.
Oh, good.
nice.
This is from
Good.
Izzy. Couple things here.
Okay, Izzy.
Izzy says, it will completely wreck some kids' days if they are picked last. I am a PE teacher in elementary school. If I do captains, I bring them away from the group and have them pick so no one can hear, and I write it down. That way, no one knows.
That just tells you what better times was.
That way-
It was out in the open.
Izzy continues.
Give me Leroy. Give me Todd.
Yeah, I know.
Give me Liz.
Better time.
That way, no one knows who was first, who was last.
Oh, that's
we're
horrible.
we're not softer at all, are we?
No, we're not making it.
No.
Exactly. Okay, come over here.
Izzy.
Okay, you, and you all go over here.
Get the guys off to the side and do it in secret.
This is awful.
We're not softer at all.
No, not at all.
We've progressed well.
Be real simple. You want to get the best thing you should say as a PE
Oh,
teacher.
man.
Hey, if you want to get picked higher, be better.
No, don't say that.
Work harder.
Get bigger.
We're supposed to tell you, work
Grow.
harder. It's not hard here.
Who is that?
Effort.
Is that
Izzy.
Is that Izzy?
Izzy.
Thank you for that
Oh,
information.
God, that's
though.
fascinating.
That's fascinating.
That
We've
is.
unturned something here
That's
pretty
fascinating.
Ron-
We get the captains over
big. Get the
and do it
captains together
silently.
silently.
Ryan in Delaware says, hey, Brock Purdy was picked last. Look at him now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Worked out for him.
Yeah. Last pick in the draft. Starting this
Interesting.
off. That is incredible. Can you imagine that in the draft? Hey, we're just going to all get everybody together here, and we're going to tell them, say what team you went to. Well, who went first? That's not important.
No.
It's not important who went fifth. It doesn't matter.
In our neighborhood, there were times, Bill, I probably got picked low when I was younger.
Oh, yeah, it's
And I was fine. I was like, oh, whatever.
recess was, here's the difference. Recess was based off of, you're all the same age.
Right.
In the neighborhood,
But in the neighborhood,
you weren't. No.
right, no.
You might have went low.
I was low
I
at
guarantee
times.
you I was a low pick.
Yeah.
Because I was the third grader and I was playing with sixth graders.
Right. I would just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Bad pick. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's fascinating, Izzy.
That is
Thank
Izzy.
you.
Izzy. Anything else in the
Izzy.
text line? We could go all day on this, Jake.
We could.
But we're out of time.
Yeah, time.
Thank you for that
Better
wonderful
times.
Bugaboo Tuesday.
We made the picks out loud.
Not in privacy to the side.
Better time.
Better times back in the day. When we come back, more on
Jim
Matt
Savona,
Rule.
better time.
More to Matt Rule's press conference from yesterday. An early break on the ticket.
Back to more of Bill's Thrills Rewrapped. Sponsored by Acres Equipment on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is a wild card football facts Wednesday today. Bill, what do you have for us over there?
Football facts, and again, me and Jake we always get together every morning,
Yes.
early, and do some bonus research.
That's right.
We had some things hit today, which I'll hit on in a second.
Flip that envelope
Everything's on an envelope.
out of the pantry.
I like the
Out of the
envelope.
pantry.
Yes.
Get the envelope out of the pantry, please.
Laura, get me an envelope. Pronto.
Football Frenzy Wednesday. Football Frenzy Wednesday. We're going to talk. So a couple things. Oklahoma's quarterback, Jackson Arnold, 5-star, highest recruit they've ever had, the future. Started in the bowl game for him last year when Dylan Gabriel's going to go to the NFL. But they let Dylan Gabriel walk. They let him out. Probably a what? Probably a salary cap situation. How do we pay for both quarterbacks? How do we pay for both quarterbacks? What do we do for, how are we going to do this? And they let him walk. He was remarkable, Dylan Gabriel was for Oklahoma. He was 10-2 last year, beat Texas. And by the way, he has Oregon undefeated, and he's throwing at 84%. He's completing 84% of his passes. He's going to be 84. He will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Not say he wins it. Right. He will be a Heisman Trophy finalist, especially if somehow he beats Ohio State or has a big moment on a big stage, which he hasn't had yet. But just think about that.
And then what happened to Jackson Arnold?
How tough is this on the HBC? Because they have now benched him. They started a freshman.
Benched him.
And now, I mean, right now, Oklahoma is in disarray.
Okay, now
they're in complete disarray.
Will they go back to him? Will they go back to him?
In the comments made by the HBC, he said, he's going to do very well in the future. Jackson, he didn't say he was going to do very well here.
Okay.
Just say he's going to do very well in the future. And so all of a sudden, imagine the disarray. You're starting out a true freshman. So when you talk about a mayhem game is this week. Oklahoma goes to Auburn.
Ooh.
Auburn, they're all over Auburn. They are killing Auburn.
Whoa, you think so?
Well, no. They're killing them in the media. I mean, right now, they're all over Hugh Freeze so bad because he's thrown players under the bus. So now there's been all this pushback by, like, what are you doing? They're 2-2. They have all these situations. Now they play Oklahoma. If they lose, mayhem. If Oklahoma loses, it's mayhem also. That'd be 0-2 in the league, and you've lost to Tennessee and to Auburn.
Okay, they'd be 0-2 in the league.
And things are upside down right now. The quarterback's out, and the quarterback was horrific against Tennessee.
This is why college football is so beautiful. Because Oklahoma-Auburn is fascinating.
And it's not a game of like, well, that's the number. That's where game day is going to be. No. But it's the most fascinating, and it's two teams of like that where the expectations are unrealistic, sometimes high. But I mean, they're high,
and the emotions run so high.
Oh, it's
Oklahoma football start SEC by going 0-2.
I'm glad you said that about being beautiful, Sip, because I'm curious if where Bill's going next, if you feel the same way.
Okay,
I'm going to go one more real quick, and I'm going to go to that one.
Okay, that's fine.
Did K-State push their quarterback out to win a national championship? Did K-State? They told him, "You're out."
Who are we talking about?
See you later, Victor.
Will Howard.
Will Howard, you're out. How's it going for him? So K-State lost to BYU.
Right.
So chance they lose again. So they're not in that same mix. And all of a sudden their quarterback, who got told no, is now the starting quarterback for potentially the best team in the country. And all of a sudden, and Will Howard's not losing that job. He's playing really well. He's doing all the right things. They run the football. Can you imagine how great? I was in Manhattan, Kansas. Where are you at now? Well, I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
And who do you got at your skill positions?
Your two running backs are the best two running backs in the country. Probably the two top draft picks at running back. Whenever they go, they're both at the same school.
Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. They're better than a lot of NFL backs right now.
That's correct.
And they're at Ohio State.
Right.
And they're stacked at every spot. But just imagine that if you got put out by that. All of a sudden it's like that.
Pretty good deal.
You got told no.
Pretty good deal. See, no sometimes is a good thing.
Sometimes, don't get yourself all freaked out.
No.
They called him in the office and said, "Listen, we're not doing it. You're done. We're going with the young quarterback," which isn't a bad move. I see why they went with Avery Johnson. Didn't play great against BYU.
No, I get it.
And I'm not saying Will Howard wins that game for K-State, but it's incredible. But here's the one that's the most where we did the bonus.
Okay, now what are you saying,
today.
Jake? What were you?
This is incredible.
This happened
Steve.
late last night.
Listen in. UNLV's having their best start of their lives. This is like Randall Cunningham time. They're 4-0. Are they ranked?
They're not ranked. They're like
26 or something.
Yeah, they're good
28.
But right now they're one of the lead stories to make the playoffs.
They're good.
They're the lead story to make the playoffs. Last night, their quarterback transferred, went to USC, who's not starting for USC. So their starter left. They went to Holy Cross and got a starter.
Yeah,
Matthew Sluka.
Sluka
can't throw it, but he's a good runner.
Good runner. He's playing out there 4-0. This is the best UNLV's ever been.
Don't tell me he got in trouble.
Oh,
and no, it's better.
It's even better.
He retired yesterday. He said that they're not paying him as they promised they would, and he's going to keep his redshirt year.
Do you want the statement, Bill?
Yes.
This is his own.
Okay, this is incredible.
This happened about midnight
last night.
This is from his own Twitter account.
Yeah.
He says, Matthew Sluka, I have decided to utilize my redshirt year and will not be playing in any additional games this season. I committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were made to me, which were not upheld after I enrolled. Despite discussions, it became clear that these commitments would not be fulfilled in the future. I wish my teammates the best of luck this season and hope for the continued success of the program. He's done. They're 3-0. He's done.
They're one of the lead stories in college football right now. Barry Odom is did an incredible job last year. Barry Odom is probably going to be someone that's going to be named in jobs next year. But now he's left the team. I love this one. Good luck to my teammates.
Right.
If I'm his teammates,
I'd want to fight him.
Yes,
I would want to fight him.
No, here's the
but they don't.
They don't anymore.
They don't.
They don't anymore. Now, some will. There'll be a few.
There'll be a few.
But I bet the prevailing thought in the locker room is, you get yours, buddy. You get yours. No, you're doing the right thing.
They beat Kansas. I mean,
I saw him. I watched the guy. He's good.
3-0, and he's just walking away because of NIL to get fulfillment still.
Bill, that's an incredible story.
Well, me and Jake got in there early. We went over it.
Now, hold on.
Yeah.
Is this just a power play by him? Is he going to get his money now, then come back? Can you do that?
Sure he can.
Well, I don't know. Could you after you announce you're walking?
So I guarantee you, here's the one thing that is known.
Leverage play.
It is well known within the locker room. Exactly. He said it out loud. They told me I was going to get this, this, and this, and I've only got this. And so everyone knows it. It's not a surprise. There's also, a lot of billionaires walking around that live right in Vegas, live right there. So I'm surprised when things weren't going like, hey, we're 3-0, what was promised to him? But here's where the whole thing lies. Because there's no union and there's no collective bargaining, the only bargaining side you have as a player is to play well and do what he just did. There's no bargaining side to it because there's no contract.
Right.
There's no contract. Do you think there's no do you think if an example, if Jeff Sims stays at Nebraska this year, is his NIL deal the same as it was his first year?
No.
No chance. No chance it is. So there's no contracts. There's nothing there. When there's no collective bargaining, you can't say if you collective bargain, you can have a contract and you could go to administration and say, listen, I was promised this. I've not got this.
If there are contracts, I just don't know how, but
if you don't have it,
they can be broken fairly easily is my guess.
Yes, there's a lot of things to it, but this is a power play.
A leverage play.
We're not even mid-season. They're having this guy's playing well.
This is an amazing story.
And he said, I'm done until I get paid.
This is now, what if I characterize it this way, guys? Now, we love college football, and it's been an incredible season already, but this is a hole in the game of college football.
It's a huge hole in the game.
Yeah,
this happened last year at North Carolina State. The same thing happened.
You can't have this, is what I'm saying.
I'm not playing anymore because I'm going to use up my redshirt year. Here's the part that's amazing. He's rushed the ball well. He hasn't thrown it well at all. What are his numbers?
It's a terrible throw.
He has 320 passing yards, but 6 touchdowns and a pick.
In 3 games.
I'm sorry.
He actually has 328 passing yards in 3 games total.
Think about that.
But 6 touchdowns and 1 pick.
So a little play action.
I watched him. He can't throw.
So my point is, he's holding out. Where's he holding out to go? You think he's going to Clemson? No, he's not going.
He can't throw it. He can't throw it.
Where's he? So basically, he might be holding out. Say, well, Wyoming will pay me more. Okay, good. Enjoy that. How's that going to be? Why would you not be like going, I'm going to go on the ride of my life?
This is an amazing story.
I'm going to go on the ride of my life here at UNLV. And
Barry Odom.
I might be able to get him in the playoffs. I might be able to go undefeated with him.
What are you thinking if you're Barry Odom? Now, some of this depends on who the backup is. Maybe they got a good backup.
Yeah.
Maybe
I have no idea.
That's the question. Is that maybe Barry Odom would say, oh, our backup's fine. I don't know, though. But, God, it's a hole in the game. It's going to happen again, too, probably, right?
But it's incredible. I just want to know what the locker room is like. And they all know this was coming. So I just can't. The hard part that I have is they didn't promise him insane stuff. He's from Holy Cross.
Right.
No one knew who he was. He got in the portal. He went to UNLV.
Couldn't be insane.
And
right?
so when this was like, hey, we're not getting this. I'm shocked they couldn't be going, hang on, we'll take care of it. And it's taken care of. I'm shocked it's not taken care of.
Well,
because they didn't make some crazy, we've promised him $9 million.
Right.
No, it didn't.
No, I'm sure.
On YouTube, GP says since he's not an NFL guy with the stats, he wants his money now because he won't get money in the NFL probably.
But still, it's I mean,
he won't make it to the next level as a quarterback.
It's a cash grab, so it just strikes you as just a big cash grab. I got to get mine now.
I would have. Maybe who knows? Who knows what I would do at this spot? I would think of myself as a parent, as a dad. I'd be like, Dad, I'm gonna sit out. I'd be like going, how about this one? Let's rethink that. How about if you get your ass back in the locker room and go play? Let's try that one out.
Attaboy.
Knock it off.
Yes.
You want to get NIL? You want to be? Guess what you could be. Also, have a great year at UNLV. Forever, you own Vegas.
Right.
You
What are you talking about? You're going to quit the team? Really? You're quitting?
Yeah. I mean,
4-0 and you're quitting on your guys. Didn't you have any relationships at all with these guys?
I'd be like going, and then also, what are the odds that it's going to work out still? So now, let's just say they come back, they're like, okay, they make it right. You're still that guy.
You quit.
You're still that guy. And here's the part that's interesting is that if Jake is accurate, which I know he is, they've just played 3 games.
They're 3-0.
And you can play 4.
Okay.
So he's choosing to do it now. He's choosing to do it now, which is very odd to not be, but it is some there. And then the other part you don't know. The other part you don't know, because on the other side of this, if you flip the coin, and he was promised something.
Yeah, I got it.
If you're promised something, a ton, and they do nothing, they tell you, as a person, would you not be upset? Yeah. I'd be upset. If they promised me, hey, we're going to do this, this.
I guess.
Hey,
I don't know.
I sat in your office.
Yeah.
You told me this, and this.
I'd have to know the particulars.
And I got nothing from this.
Yep.
That would also, I could see that.
So they had a bye week. They didn't play this last week. UNLV, they beat Houston 27-7. Utah Tech 72-14. Kansas 23-20. Did not play this past week.
Who do they have this week?
They host Fresno State.
Huge game.
Big game.
Huge game.
I mean,
it's an incredible story.
They can't work it out. Huh. And I hate now, Bill, I don't like to be judgy on that, but I don't know how much I got to know on this. I'm just amazed. I'm just going to say it's a hole in the game in college football.
That's the biggest story. It is. It's a hole, but it's happening all the time. The crazy thing was, I'm not even sure where he went to, but the quarterback who was the starter at North Carolina, who then said, I'm done.
Yeah.
He transferred in the portal. And wherever he went to, now he's third string.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always like that. So
this
may happen here. All of a sudden he goes to wherever, but he's not going. There's no one. Do you really think Missouri's like going like, hey, we're going to lose Cook? How about the guy from what's he throw for? 100 yards a game.
No, he's not that type of quarterback. No. I mean, he's good. He can really run. I watched the Kansas game.
Yeah, and also they'll struggle probably because what's on film now as a D coordinator. He can't throw it. He can run.
No, when I mean he can't throw it, I mean he can't throw it.
He was 7 for 18 against Kansas.
Yeah, he's 7 for wobbly balls, missed open guys. I mean,
he ran the ball well. 130 yards
rushing.
He's
a tough kid. Yeah. I mean, he's a really tough kid.
Not very accurate.
God,
so we'll track
what a story.
We'll track that tomorrow in the days to come.
Back to more of Bill's Thrills Rewrapped, sponsored by Acres Equipment on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bill, it is a Cool Parenting Tips Thursday today, correct?
Yes, I want to give a quick shout out to Ty Steinkooler because he met with my nephew yesterday. Did an incredible job.
Who's your nephew?
Like that, Skylar Schindler, starting offensive center for Morningside back in the day. He started off the run at Morningside. They went deep into the playoffs, never won a natty, but he started the whole thing.
Skylar Schindler.
Incredible. He started center. He built Morningside. Skylar did.
Do you know where Morningside is, Sybil?
Yes, it's in Sioux City.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely.
So I used to go to Sioux City all the time.
Crushing it. So anyway, today we're talking about cool parenting tips.
Flip it.
So back in the day, the biggest compliment I ever got was from the video staff at Nebraska, and they called me Bill Lasso, for the Ted Lasso. Did you watch Ted Lasso? I can see Schaefer watching. Lasso. So there is a clip from Ted Lasso that I think really locks in for today's cool parenting tips.
Okay, thank you.
And if we could please lock in and listen, I'd appreciate it.
Love it.
You know, Rupert, guys have underestimated me my entire life. And for years, I never understood why. It used to really bother me. But then one day, I was driving my little boy to school, and I saw this quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall there. It said, "Be curious, not judgmental." And I like that. So I get back in my car, and I'm driving to work, and all of a sudden, it hits me. All them fellas that used to belittle me, not a single one of them were curious. You know, they thought they had everything all figured out, and so they judged everything, and they judged everyone. And I realized that they're underestimating me. Who I was had nothing to do with it. Because if they were curious, they would ask questions. You know? Questions like, have you played a lot of darts, Ted? Which I would have answered, yes, sir. Every Sunday afternoon at a sports bar with my father from age 10 until I was 16 when he passed away. Barbecue sauce.
So Ted wins he's throwing darts to win for the
great scene.
It's an incredible scene. But the thing about it that stands out, so I have this up, the be curious, not judgmental, the sign's up in my garage.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Teaching your kids that everyone has a crazy, interesting story. Be curious, ask questions. If you ask questions, it is incredible what you can learn what you find out. Every time I see a veteran with a Vietnam vet hat, I want to talk to him. I'm always like, he has to have a story that's so incredible to listen to. I mentioned the story on John Robinson when I sat next to him for an entire year at LSU. And here's the key. John didn't say a word. If you asked him, it was like a spirit animal came out of him, and he would answer and tell you things. But he wasn't just offering it up. You have to teach your kids to ask questions. Because when you're just continually talking to yourself about that, no one cares. No one really cares.
Not really.
They really don't. But if you're curious, when I would sit and talk, whenever time I'm around old coaches, I just ask them hundreds of questions. What was it like to play here? What was it like to do this? What situation was it? What was it like to go against, to coach in the Army-Navy game? Tell me about the league, whatever it is, to be able to see that. On the other side of it, right there, to be likable and to have any sort of skill set, you can't just spew stuff. All of a sudden, the ones that just constantly are just talking all the time, they want that. That's not it. So it goes both ways on how this whole transaction takes place. Mm-hmm. When I talk about kids and talking to their grandparents, of asking questions. What was it like to grow up in this time? What was it like to do this? If you ever get that across to your kids on how important it is to ask questions and to be curious, the stories is everyone has the most unbelievable story. Mm-hmm. Everyone that has history, there's older, has a story. The younger ones still have a story, just hasn't been used up much yet. Mm-hmm. They haven't gotten to it like that. But just the chance to talk to, it's the same thing we talk about sometimes. Young Ben, Steve Sipple's here. It's not like how do you run? How'd you write this article? It's like, where were you at when you were covering this? Mm-hmm. What was it like being at this Orange Bowl? What happened during this time? Have you ever been locked in an elevator? Mm-hmm. All these things that come up, all the fun stuff that comes up when it goes down. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I think it's just a tool that I think you can teach kids. It's a great tool. You need to ask questions because everyone has a story.
It's a great,
it just unbelievable story. And just go back and watch that scene. It's an incredible scene. That's just one that just stuck with me forever. Ted Lasso.
And that was Ted Lasso talking?
That was Ted Lasso
I didn't know he talked like that.
It was, he does. Yeah. And he's just Mr. Positive. He's just absolutely the show's incredible.
Yeah, it's super unique because there's not a lot of television shows that are that sort of positive and messaging.
Yeah, it was one of the most unique, and it was like during COVID time. Yeah, wasn't it? I mean, you couldn't have got enough Ted Lasso. You just want to. I agree with that. Just get it all over yourself. It's basically what you want to do with Ted Lasso. Anything from the text line, Jake?
East Lincoln West chimes in. He says, "Damn, hit the heartstrings today, Bill. Great advice. Thank you."
Hit my heartstrings.
Yeah, that was really profound.
By the way, that Jason Sudeikis is Ted Lasso as the actual actor for Ted Lasso. In case you didn't know. I want to talk to Jason, but I want him to be Ted Lasso when I talk to him. I want him to be in character. I want him to be in character.
I mean, the idea of someone like that being real seemed so awesome to you that someone could be that positive and outgoing.
And if I'm
the idea is that you could be that person.
There's more knowledge out there. Help me out with this. But this was based off of a coach, I believe, from Wichita.
Is that right?
It's based off. This story is based off a real life person.
I don't know
that operated like this. His big thing was believe.
Really,
had the believe sign. But
is that why he started as a Wichita State football coach?
I believe that's what it was. Yeah, I think that's why it started. He started as a Wichita State football coach, and the whole idea of the story is just incredible. And it gets into soccer, and it's a remarkable story. But like I said, be curious, not judgmental.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good.
Boy, I tell you, at some point in time, I know I'm brutally judgmental at sometimes.
Really?
See something. When I was at some point in time in my life, I'm sure I judged stuff or wasn't curious when I should have been, when maybe I was talking, letting somebody else know, hey, you know what you know? Let me tell you what I know.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, how about this one? I'm sure I've made that error. Guarantee it.
Well, yeah, you're human. We all do that.
A texter from the 308, Western Nebraska, chimes in and says, my grandpa was a Vietnam vet. One time someone randomly came up and shook his hand and thanked him for his service. Now if I see anyone with a veteran shirt or hat on, I shake their hand, thank them, and it'll make their whole day. Great lesson today, Bill. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Bill.
The stories. Now sometimes people don't want to talk, but I'm like, if they do, I'd love to listen to it. I'd love to have that information because again, the people have credible stories, and it's fun to hear them.
Yep.
All right, that is Bill's Thrills, sponsored by our friends Dirk, Scott, and Ty at